Clannad is the greatest anime ever created. I want to talk to you guys specifically about the first season of the anime, as that season is the one that gets the most hate. A lot of the complaints for the first season say that it's slow paced and that it's boring. Well, I disagree. The first season is incredibly important to the overall story, and all of the moments from After Story that hit so hard wouldn't hit anywhere near as hard if it wasn't for the setup of the first season. Clannad's first season has 4 arcs in total, the main story which is spread out throughout the rest of the season, and 3 other smaller arcs. Each one of the smaller arcs introduces us to a character and allows for us to learn more about them and their importance to the overall story. They also allow for the main characters to grow as people. The arcs themselves are also not boring. Each arc has an emotional high note that really gets you in the feels and makes you understand what this series is really about. Clannad is the best season for talking about the importance of friendship. After Story focuses more on the importance of family and loss, whereas the first season has that loss element in it, but it's more about closeness between friends and what makes them so important in your life. The friends you make in high school or college are friends that you could know for your entire life, and the first season shows you how each of these characters care for each other. There is a lot of romantic love thrown throughout the season as well. However, when the main character gets together with Nagisa, none of their friendships fall apart because each character also cares about each other in other ways that makes the whole story come together nicely in After Story. The one thing about the first season I'm not a huge fan of is the over-reliance of the comedic relief character. Like, it's fine, but there are some times where it's more cringe than funny, and I wish they wouldn't have relied on it so much. But other than that, I think the original Clannad season is amazing. I want to talk more in depth about the characters and the story throughout the rest of the video to really drive home what I'm talking about, to try and convince you more about the first season of Clannad and just how amazing it is. But before we jump further into the video, it would be awesome if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I make new anime and manga content every single week. So first, I want to go over the story and talk about exactly what makes it so important and good. The story of the first season is mostly a lot of setup and introducing characters. However, we do get the backstory of the main character Tamoya and his relationships with certain characters, as well as why he is the way he is at the beginning of the series. We get a lot of good setup for Nagisa as well. We learn about her sickness, her passions, and how she became this way. The story itself has enough diverse arcs that makes it really interesting to follow, with the Fuko arc starting things off. I personally think this arc is the weakest in the season. However, this arc has a lot of really emotional moments, and it helps us set things up for the future in After Story, as Tamoya ends up being really close to the real Fuko in the future as well. Kotomi's arc is probably the best this season besides the main story stuff, because we get to learn about Tamoya's past, as well as learn a bit about all the weird supernatural stuff that has been seen throughout the series thus far. It is also the first time we see the theme of the importance of family on full display with the ending of the arc and how emotional it really is. Tomoya's arc in this season is a solid arc and sets things up for another arc that we get to see later in After Story. This arc doesn't get as emotional as the previous two, but it has its moments. This arc is more used as a catalyst for the next major point in the story, which is all about the relationship between Nagisa and Tamoya. This final group of episodes, the main group finally gets the drama club back together and they have a big performance during the school festival. We get to learn a lot about Nagisa's past as well as her parents' past. Throughout the series, her parents were completely crazy and used for a lot of comedic moments. But in this arc, we learn the reason why they act this way. It's because they always want their daughter to be happy and smile, and so they felt like if they acted like idiots, it would help their daughter to smile and laugh. As parents, they sacrificed everything after Nagisa got sick. All of their dreams went out the window and were passed on to their daughter. This arc also goes into the relationship between Tamoya and his father as well. It sets things up for the future and helps to bring Nagisa and Tamoya even closer together. Each and every section of the first season is very important and is used for a lot of really good setup for future events. It also has a lot of emotional moments that hit really hard. The first season of Clannad is an amazing experience and is one that you have to sit through to get to the god tier moments in After Story, because otherwise those moments wouldn't be god tier. Alright, now, I'm not just talking about the story and how it affected the characters, I want to talk about the characters themselves. All of the characters are awesome. The main characters get so much development that sets up so much stuff for the future of the series, and the side cast is also great. All the characters have awesome personalities that really help to enhance the series as a whole. All of the characters really feel like friends, and it comes together with how they treat each other. The characters all have this really immature attitude and personality, which helps to make their development work so well for the future of the series when they're all adults. Most of the characters have awesome backstories that help to enhance the story as well. Even the comedic relief characters get some development and good backstories. Like Tsunohara, for example. In the first season, his development is more subtle and we only really get to see hints of his past and how it affects him. But what we do know sets his character up nicely, and we get to see that despite all his faults, he's a really good friend who will always come through in a pinch, and I respect that a lot. It's not just him though, the other side characters like Kyo and Ro also are really good. They don't get much development and we don't learn much about their past, but their personalities make up for it tremendously. They each fill an integral role in the friend group and they help to bring everyone together alongside Tamoya. Kotomi at first is a shy girl with no friends who we later find out is a genius student. But that isn't what makes her character. Her backstory is one of the best in the entire series. It sets up the future friendship between her and Tamoya by showing that they have known each other since childhood. Kotomi has also had a lot of tragedy in her life, losing her parents and her only friend at a young age left her traumatized and unwilling to open up to people. Until she reunites with Tamoya, who helps her to open up more and make more friends. Fuko is probably the worst of the characters in this season, as after her arc, the only time we ever see her is for comedic purposes, so she doesn't get too many moments to shine through. However, on the opposite spectrum to that, we get two more comedic characters that really get to shine. Nagisa's parents. Throughout the course of the series, they are comedic characters where we only get to see subtle hints about their past. However, in the last group of episodes, we learn about their backstories and their sacrifices, and it gives me so much respect for them that they would sacrifice everything for their daughter like that. They are the shining example of the main theme of Clannad, and you definitely get to see that on full display in this season, even if it isn't quite as much as an afterstory. The characters in the first season are just as amazing as they are in afterstory, and are used to set up so many future events that will hit you so hard in afterstory. The characters really make this show for me and make the whole experience a million times better. The first season of Clannad gets so much hate for being slow-paced and boring. I hope that for everyone who says that, this video can convince you guys that the first season is arguably more important than afterstory, as it helps to set up so many future events and helps to make you care about the characters so much. None of the sad and emotional moments from afterstory would be anywhere near as impactful if it wasn't for the amazing setup that the first season had on its characters and the story. If you want to rewatch this series or try to convince someone to watch this masterpiece of a series, just tell them all of these points and hopefully that will ease their problems with trying to get into the series.
Well, it's not as far-fetched as it may seem. In fact, both local San Francisco papers are investing a lot of money to try and get a service just like that started. Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand new system.